Lack of access to healthcare is nothing new for rural Americans, but access to hospice and palliative care is reaching a dire need in just about every rural community in the country. A 2019 study by the Medicare Payment Advisory Commission found that only 18% of American hospices operate in rural areas. This is especially problematic since rural populations tend to be older, sicker, and have lower incomes than their urban counterparts. And for places that are even further off the beaten path, it only exacerbates the issue.
So we're on Whidbey Island, northwest Washington. We're about an hour and a half, 2 hours northwest of downtown Seattle. Island's about 70 miles long, about 15 to 20 miles wide in certain places. Wonderful place to live. Very small communities, very open spaces, very natural. A lot of parks, a lot of hiking, great scenery. Weather is phenomenal. Lots of sunshine, not a lot of snow. It's a great place to live, great place to come visit. It's challenging to get here. There are only two ways to get on the island. From the north end, there is Deception Pass Bridge, and from the south end, you have to take a ferry from Mokoteo over to Clinton. And so that's about the only two ways on and off the island. A little bit isolated, hard to get to the mainland, but a great place to live.
The difference between hospice and palliative care is subtle in some ways because they are both focused on comfort care, decreasing stress in a patient's life because of the medical diagnosis that they have. But there are some really big significant differences. The palliative team can be involved in that patient's life for years or months and months and months. They work in conjunction with the patient's care team to make sure that they are continuing to seek treatments. Hospice is a step beyond that because those folks are choosing not to continue on with their care option. They are choosing to be comfortable over running back and forth to the hospital, continuing with lab draws, continuing with chemo or radiation. They've just kind of want to demedicalize their lives a little bit, and that's kind of where hospice steps in. We are about making the time that you have here the best quality life you can live, the most comfortable, the most joyous, the most family-filled. And so that's kind of the difference between hospice is we just aren't interested in length of time. We are interested in quality of time.
Recognizing the needs of their neighbors, the leaders of WhidbeyHealth chose to expand the scope of a typical critical access hospital in order to bring this crucial care to their community.
Being on the island, being kind of isolated, we have to look at all of the needs of the community, right? And so that is everything from birth to death. So we deliver babies here. A lot of hospitals have stopped doing that. But it's so hard for our patients to get across that we're looking at what can we do to serve everybody that we can. And so we've looked at the whole spectrum of healthcare. And so one of the key parts is expanding primary care access. All hospitals after COVID struggled a lot financially. And so we're looking at how do we grow? Because the only way we survive is if we grow and able to take care of the patients and keep them from having to travel. And so we focused a lot on recruiting physicians. We've recruited 35 in the last year and a half to add to our primary care base and our specialty base. So orthopedics, general surgery, OBGYN, and one of the things that we focused a lot on is hospice. We've had a good, strong hospice and palliative care program here for several years. It's a huge need. It allows people to stay at home, not have to stay in the hospital, and allows them to be around their loved ones and not have to worry about how many are around. So it's a great program, makes people a lot more comfortable, and gives them options towards the end of their life of how they want to spend the last time with their family.
My relationship with WhidbeyHealth Hospice was when my wife entered hospice while she was in an assisted living center here on Whidbey Island. It was a godsend, really, when that happened, because my wife was in such pain and discomfort. When hospice comes in, everything is natural, and that was such a relief. I was always asking questions and what does this mean and things like that. And I would say the experience was this natural kindness that just emanates from everybody. And they included me with everything. that was a blessing too, to have people who are doing the same thing that I am. They're so concerned with my wife's comfort and her pain level, and so on. And I'm grateful we didn't have to go somewhere else.
I have a really close family and community, and when we got the word that my husband Dale would pass in 10 days to 2 weeks, my family and friends kind of moved in, and you know, I have an image of them sort of locking arms with me, and you know, we could get through it, but none of us knew what to actually do. And I'm like, how do I know what to do, right? I'm losing the love of my life at any moment. So hospice provided that structure. Once we got the word that he was going to die so suddenly, he had a whole lot of equanimity. And the thing about equanimity is, and this is from Mark Slavin, hospice provided the needed structure in a potentially chaotic circumstance. They told all of us how to take care of Dale's need and what to expect from the dying process, which really lessened the stress and gave us the emotional space to be present for him and one another, because we didn't have to think about the logistics. They gave us easy to follow protocol, day-to-day guidance. So we were not worrying about what to do and when to do it. They said, here's what you need to do to get through this. It provided a sense of security at a time of tremendous difficulty. It was like an embrace. We've got you, they said. Do these things and just breathe.
Rooted in compassion and comfort, hospice and palliative care gives crucial support for the whole family. Providing holistic relief of physical, emotional, and spiritual suffering is vital to help ensure patients can stay comfortable in their homes without the burden of traveling for care.
The island is a very challenging place to get specialty health care. Without Whidbey, that would not be available to a lot of these folks. So it is vital that we are here. In just August, we saw about 800 patients. So it is quite a bit of time spent out in people's homes. And that's a lot of folks that we touch, and it's a pretty powerful service.
The mission here is to take care of our communities, take care of all the patients here that we can. We can cover the basics and cover most of what our community needs, at least long enough to get them to where they need to be if we can't do it. So our real mission is to take care of our communities, provide as much quality health care as we can on the island so that they can stay home and keep people happy, support our communities, and be here for the long term.
WhidbeyHealth, quality care you can count on, close to home. To learn more, visit WhidbeyHealth.org today.